Welcome to Programming the Next Steps. This series is for junior software developers who have learned the basics of development and are looking to the next steps in growing their skills. We will be going through the process of creating new services where we collect requirements, plan out development, and implement the features. The goal is to introduce new programmers to working in a more realistic environment with other stakeholders and applications. For any aspiring programmers who feel a little lost after completing their first set of tutorials, this is for you. Our first scenario starts with us meeting a data science team. They have a problem where they have run afoul of hitting a corporate partner's website too much with their web scrapers. Their initial solution was for each data scientist to self-limit, but that didn't really work out. Some of them didn't properly self-limit, others were fine until multiple data scientists hit the site at the same time. A discussion was raised about the partner providing an API, but that appears to be a no-go for multiple reasons. Furthermore, this isn't the first time this problem has happened. The first step of any engineering project is figuring out whether or not an engineering solution is warranted. There's an apocryphal story about a team of engineers who spent a lot of time and money developing a bicycle that uses pedaling power to heat the handlebar. It was a beautiful and elegant solution to keep the rider's hands warm in the cold, but after many months of work, the first user they showed it to pointed out they would just wear mitts in the winter. Determining whether or not to develop a fully customized solution is far outside the scope of this video and involves looking at many factors, including the cost of development and ongoing maintenance. For this scenario, we've determined that alternative solutions, like the data scientists manually coordinating with each other, is far too wasteful of their time, it is expensive, and also error-prone. Here we're going to write down our planning notes. So we're just going to open up a text window, and we're going to start with our problem. So the client hits partner websites too frequently with their web scrapers. We're going to clarify that our clients, in this case, are our internal data science users. And from there, our initial proposed solution from the meeting is to create a lightweight internal proxy web service that rate limits outgoing requests. So you'd ideally be writing these down during the meeting, but we currently do not have actual other people here to do the meeting in this video. Now we can finally get to the acceptance criteria to solve the problem with the solution. First, we want a web service using synchronous HTTP calls to fetch external resources URL. This will be asynchronous because the data scientist will make a connection to our service. Our service will then relay that out, obeying the rate limits outbound, get the response, and then send the response back to the client. And the next criteria is that we should return a response in a reasonable amount of time. So not only should we not violate the rate limit policy, but given that we do not violate it, we should return as fast as possible. So then the next acceptance criteria is that we do not violate rate limit policies for a given domain. And this naturally leads to another criteria, which is that we allow the administrative setting of rate limit policies per domain. And finally, we should have some basic form of security. This application is assumed to be running in an internal firewall, but just in case, there should be some kind of at least basic password or token system that doesn't allow any other unauthorized connections. So we will start the project in Python and use GitHub to host the repo. So the repository name we will start with is steps. And avoid name conflicts, I'll just give this a simple prefix. And then this will be the rate limit project. I'll just keep this public. No need for me to keep this private. And what we'll do is, this is Python. License. Don't grate that. So create us a nice simple repo. So next we'll want to pull the project locally. I'm using PyCharm, but that's not required. So to initialize, I've already got my GitHub connected. So I'll just wait for it to pull in. And then just pull in the project. And we should have it locally now. The next thing we're going to want to do is go and create a folder. And this is going to be for our documentation. Don't think it like that. Let's try that again. Documentation, or just call it doc for short. And then we're just going to want a new text file, which is, just call this file. This is going to be our I'll just add that to the project. And this will be the acceptance criteria that we specified in our meeting. So when we go and create behavior tests, we'll be comparing them against this file. So if we go grab this file and then go back, you have to copy it over. So what we'll do, copy, paste. And furthermore, we might want to number these in case we want to reference them. All right. Let me save. So that wraps that up for this episode. Next episode, we'll start to look at architecting our initial code.